Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today is a very special reunion 2020 episode. That's where I bring on a guest I had on in the past, and I liked him so much I had to bring him right back. Today I have on the show Tryst Mallette, who is a founder over at Tryst Photography. Tryst, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me back.
So excited to catch up with you and see what's going on over in your business. But before we do that, let's just get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career?
So photography is one of those things that I've always been interested in. At a very young age, I started having interest in the camera and the mechanics of photography. But as I've grown older, I started, photographing more and more. And then it was actually a few years back that I really decided I should streamline my portfolio, and so I opened up, I created a website, and then now I've been bringing in more clients than I have over the last 5 years.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I love it. I love to hear that everything's going well, and I think that's also a great transition. Let's get into what you're doing over at Tryst Photography. So tell us a little bit more about the business, please.
Yeah, so I mainly do portraiture work. My most recent clients have been for business portraits. A lot of clients want photos for their websites or business cards. I've had a few engagement sessions and then senior portraits, some intimate weddings here and there. But the stuff I find most interesting is when I have an individual who wants more artistic portraiture for personal use. That's what I'm really trying to streamline my company into being, is more portraiture for intimacy and very artistic headshots for an individual.
What do you find are, a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of executives listening. So a lot of them go to get their, their business. They have to have these headshots, right? For LinkedIn, for anything else, you need these headshots. What are some tips for people out there that are going to get their headshot? Obviously, they're not gonna shoot the photo, right? They're just going in to get it done. But what are some tips for them to basically present the best that they can?
For the individual to look their best for the photo?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people go a little bit over the top when it comes to accessories and for women makeup. And that can be one of those things where, depending on your lighting, it's more isn't always, because less can be more, right? So I think that having a lot of like eyeshadow or having really bright lipstick or having a very colorful blouse often makes it harder to then correct the lighting in those images and make the person look very natural and comfortable post-op in editing. So that's something that I found personally with photographing a lot of real estate agents and other business owners.
That's awesome. And I knew you had some tips up there for that, because I'm like thinking to myself, whenever I have to go take another photo or a headshot, I'm just always like, I don't know, I just throw on a suit, I do this, I do that, maybe I get a haircut. But I had a feeling you had some extra tips in there that we should be thinking about.
Yeah, something else actually that I suppose this is more a tip for a photographer rather than for the client. But one of the things I like to do is, a lot of people are very uncomfortable in front of the camera, even, professionals who are in the business and are often photographed, they're still very nervous. So I think the best thing to do is actually talk to your clients. And sometimes those snaps in between a conversation when they're smiling, those are the best photos.
The candids are key. I love it. That's how I try to get my Instagram shots, but we'll see, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Tryst, what areas do you work in? So let's talk a little bit more about geography, other things like that, so that people, that if they're listening and they're like, I think Tryst has some things going that and they want to follow up, they know that they're the right type of client.
Absolutely. So I'm based in Detroit, and I do most of the real estate photography I do is in Detroit, Royal Oak, areas like that. But I do have a few clients out in Pittsburgh right now. A friend of the family introduced me to them, and they want me to photograph their life together for a interview for an adoption agency. So that's cool because now I'm spreading out a little bit. So I even had a couple shoots in New York over the summer because there's people out there that I know too. So, but mainly I stick to Michigan, a lot of Detroit work specifically.
Man, that's great. Anything you care to comment on in the business community or the market just around you that you're noticing?
Yeah, so it's weird. Detroit's at this level right now where I feel like artistically it's really like hitting this threshold of just innovation. I've seen a lot of specifically other students who are around my age opening different art studios and art communities that I think are really, really interesting. I think that right now is actually an amazing time to be an artist in Detroit. If you can find those communities and reach out to people, there's so many opportunity and so much opportunity for collaboration with other artists, other young artists, which is really, really exciting.
Oh man, that is really exciting. That's what I'm told. I mean, I have my family still back there, and I'm always told, man, there's all kinds of things happening. There's these interesting art communities and just people that are popping up and these new businesses, and it's just overall like a lot of good energy and a lot of good vibe. And obviously, it's big in the Metro Detroit area. I mean, it's huge. So there's going to be little pockets of different things happening all over the place. But just curious to get your update there. So, Tryst, if somebody is listening to this and they do want to follow up and get more information on Tryst Red Photography, what's the best way for them to follow up?
So my website is just trystred.com. If they're interested of following my Instagram handle, that is tryst.red. And then my Facebook is Tryst Red Photography.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Tryst, really good catching back up with you and having you back on the show. And I'm so happy to hear that the business is going well and that your site, everything else is working well, and that you're also getting to do the creative stuff you like doing. So all great things there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Tryst, thanks again for coming on the show.